an estimated 9 million adults living with food allergies in the U.S. alone today. According to FAIR, Food and Allergy Research and Education Scientists, food allergies are not rare, but although they are common, most still do not understand food allergies to their fullest, and the pressure it holds on the food allergy person. Ever since finding out about my food allergy, I had this whole new perspective on why it is so important for everyone to know about food allergies. Today I'm going to talk to you about just what are food allergies, how you have to adjust your life to live with food allergies, and making others aware of your allergy. I will begin by telling you more about food allergies. According to ACAAI.org and www.cdc.gov, 90% of all reactions come from dairy, eggs, peanut, tree nuts, fish, shellfish, wheat, and soy. Keep in mind there are thousands of types of reactions that can come from food, but these are just the top 9 that the 2 websites gave. The symptoms for these can vary from a simple rash to a tummy ache to a sinus headache, or can be as serious as a closed throat and sometimes unconsciousness. The triggers for this also vary. Sometimes a person could just smell peanuts, or a person would have to ingest a large amount of peanut to have a reaction. The diagnosis for these are somewhat simple but not ideal. One diagnosis is called a scratch test. Is where you go to the doctor's office and you'll lay on your stomach and they'll draw a grid on your back. The doctor takes these little needles and scratches you with each one. One may be dairy, one may be eggs, one may be peanuts, whatever. And based off of that and how you react is what you're allergic to. Keep in mind you can also be tested for allergies by a blood test or just by a breath test. Now, the top 90% of reactions come from dairy, eggs, peanuts, tree nuts, fish, shellfish, wheat, and soy, but keep in mind there still is 1,000 others. Now that you know a little bit more about food allergies, I will tell you about how you have to adjust your life to live with one. According to foodallergy.com and health.harvard.edu, they give me the top tips that you will use. Medicine, such as Benadryl that you carry with you, or an emergency medicine, such as an EpiPen. An EpiPen is essentially a shot, either injected normally in the thigh or the neck. And what this does is would stop you from going into shock. It would stop your throat closing, but only momentarily, but it'll give you enough time to get to a hospital. You also have to learn about reading labels well. Sometimes people who are cooking for you would read the top 3 ingredients and say, well, those aren't listed, that doesn't matter. But that's not always true. Like with milk, obviously there's dairy, it's listed in the top ingredient. But with peanut butter crackers, you wouldn't always think that there would be milk. But if you read along the side, and sometimes it's hard to see, there will always be this less than 2%. Less than 2% normally means there's just traces or it's cooked in a factory with that. But even though there might just be a trace of it, it might still send someone into shock. Now that you know about food allergies and how someone has to adjust their life for the allergy, I'll tell you about why it's important for others to become aware. For little children, sometimes they have medical bracelets that they will wear. These saying what they're allergic to, numbers you might need to know, and what would happen and what you should do if the person ingested it. Eating out can also be a pain for those with allergies. That they normally have gluten-free menus and peanut-free menus, but they don't always have the menus for dairy or fish. And although this is a pain, and although people will get annoyed with you, it's always helpful to ask just what's in it. So like if you were to ask for chicken and rice, and they would say, well, there's chicken and rice in it. Well, then you'd have to go deeper than that and say, well, what's in the chicken? What was it cooked with? Was it cooked with the same oil you've cooked your fish with? What did it touch? Or with rice, you could say, well, it was scooped out and put on the plate, but what else did that scooper handle? And cross-contact with food is a big one, just like that, or even if something was just to accidentally drop in the oil and pick back up, that could still send someone into shock. In conclusion, today I've told you about what food allergies are, adjusting your life to live with them, and making others aware of your allergy. And although food allergies may not seem like a big deal to the normal person, living with one is not easy and it can become overwhelming. I hope by listening today, you all gain some knowledge and insight on food allergies. And just remember, next time you're at a restaurant and someone makes a big deal about their food, it might just be because they are part of the 9 million who suffer from food allergies.